welcome to the first edition of the Deplorable Nation podcast. Today, I just want to talk about a few things, see how long it takes me to get this all out, hopefully under a half an hour. First thing was fake news. So how would you define fake news if you looked it up on the internet? It says news satire, also called fake news, and called a satire because of its content. News satire relies heavily on irony and deadpan humor. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but maybe some of the things I can think about as fake news is, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, Washington Post, New York Times, Huffington Post, Salon, Slate, Daily Beast, BuzzFeed, Think Progress, Politics USA, Vox, and some of my favorite, the Young Turks. The Young Turks. That was a slip of the tongue there. The Young Turks. You know, not to get off this, but I watched them on election night, their coverage. How can anyone take them seriously? I mean, they call themselves the media. They're so far to the left. I know they're somewhere between, socialist to communist. Just really something to watch. If you get a chance on YouTube to watch them on election night, it is absolutely unbelievably funny. You know, some of the things that the fake journalistic news people out there have stated, some of the people I've named off, they've said things like, Donald Trump is being aided by Russian hackers in this election. Oh, great. No proof there. Or how about Hillary Clinton is leading in the polls and will be the next president after a landslide victory. Didn't work out so great, huh? Or maybe the unemployment rate is the lowest ever and the economy is doing great. Well, tell that to all the people of the Midwest, especially the ones like in Wisconsin and Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania. Seems to me they voted for Trump. Let me think of another one. Oh, wait a minute. Nothing out of the ordinary happened in Benghazi. Oh, absolutely not. They didn't try to ask for help 300-400 times to get them out of there. Nothing happened there out of the ordinary. The Arctic ice caps are melting, or man-made climate change is going to kill us all. Great. I don't know about that one. There might be some truth to that, but I like a little bit more than just throwing it out there and seeing what sticks to the wall. And the other thing is that, when they do report something that's so fake, they quietly retract it a couple of days later. A headline is a headline, and that's what most people read. The headline. We're going to see something that's outrageous. How else are you going to put it? Breitbart, Alex Jones at InfoWars, Drudge, have really come a long way in the last couple of years. And to be honest, this election cycle, they've been outstanding. They have really given another voice out there to media, stories that just were not being reported on. Look at all the WikiLeaks that come out, the media, dead silence. Many people went to YouTube and they rehashed what was read in these. And, Alex Jones, InfoWars, Breitbart, and those types, of outlets reported very closely on them. And to be honest, nothing, the DNC did not dispute the authenticity of these. All they said was that we were hacked by the Russians with no proof. Where's the proof that we were hacked by Russians? Come on. I see nothing there. Nothing's been reported. Nothing's been said. It's just nothing. Hey, Santa Claus could have did it. As far as I'm concerned, you might as well throw it out there because that makes about as much sense as the Russians hacking into their stuff. And John Podesta, you are a criminal, pal. And so are you, Hillary. I'll look forward and hopefully you'll get locked up. But we'll see. We have to see how this is all going to pan out in the end. Well, enough of that. The other thing I wanted to point out was I was listening to Keith Olbermann. I mean, this guy, I think, is taken to the bottle. Maybe he's butthurt about getting fired, losing his job. Maybe he's still even more butthurt because his lefty candidate, criminal, communist Hillary Clinton lost the election. And in typical liberal rage, goes on this rant that basically has to be fueled by, I don't know, insanity, stupidity, I don't know, Jack Daniels, maybe all three, I don't know, hey, but I thought I would go ahead and put a couple of snippets in here for us to listen to and just see how off the hinge old Keith goes. Completely convinced that we were cyber attacked and hacked and the outcome of the election was controlled by the Russians. Not the people that don't have a job or are tired of how the country's going. Oh no, none of that. We were hacked by the Russians and they basically controlled the outcome of the election. So let's take a listen.
We are at war with Russia. Or perhaps more correctly, we have lost a war with Russia without a battle. We are no longer a sovereign nation. We are no longer a democracy. We are no longer a free people. We are the victims of a bloodless coup. So far, a bloodless coup engineered by Russia with, at best, the traitorous indifference of the Republican Party and Donald John Trump, a man who, to borrow a phrase from another December long ago, will live in infamy.
Well, the last time I checked, Donald John Trump was legally and democratically elected president of the United States, who's going to get sworn in on January 20th of next year. I guess we still live in a democracy. People went to the polls. They counted up the votes. Trump won. Get over it. I'm sorry you're butthurt or drunk or mad at losing your job on TV or whatever, but I guess the rant continues. Let's take a listen to another clip, shall we?
In 5 weeks' time, unless desperate measures are taken, we will hand over the government to a man who lost the popular vote by more than Woodrow Wilson or Jimmy Carter won it.
Last time I saw, I thought the election was decided by the Electoral College, not the popular vote, or people would just campaign basically on each coast and maybe maybe Chicago and in Texas. Electoral College wins you the election. That's all there is to it. It's in the Constitution, and that's how it is. And I don't know what extraordinary measures you want to stoop to there. Maybe something that's against the law is reprehensible and un-American as far as I'm concerned. Let's listen to some more of what this idiot had to say.
Some others, too, have proved courageous. Trump, self-destructive to the last, issued a childish statement mocking the CIA, but as Tim Dickinson of Rolling Stone noted, not denying anything.
Well, in my opinion, I'd say Donald Trump was pretty courageous, taking on the task of running for president and winning. The onslaught of his own party most of the time, basically not helping him at all. The mainstream media basically lying and then retracting things quietly that weren't true about him, or the many accusers that came forth saying that he groped them or did whatever. He didn't have to do any of this. He lived a life that we all wish we could live, to be honest. He didn't have to go through this. He did it because he said he loved America and wanted to make America great again. The other thing I'm looking at in this statement is, would anyone really believe anything that Rolling Stone reports? Really? Well, let's see what else we had to say here.
The CIA and FBI and Homeland Security, the institutions whose interest in freedom we on the left most frequently distrust. They have said something. They said it first to congressional and Senate Republicans in September. Dire warnings that Mitch McConnell and other Republicans reportedly buried, warnings that the Russians, using computer hacking and perhaps other means, were not merely trying to discredit the election, but to achieve the specific outcome of electing their man Trump.
Well, if memory serves, during that time frame you're referencing to, I think that all of that was disproven. I think they came out and said, we don't know anything about this Russian stuff. There is no proof. People would run around saying, it's the Russians. And when we ask, where's the proof? Silence. Oh, we think it is. Or all these people. Where are these people? Who are they? Where are all these experts that were out there telling us that we have proof the Russians hacked in and they're controlling? I don't see anything. Bring the proof and show it to us. Hey, if they interfered with the election, I'd be kind of mad too. For sure, that a foreign power is interfering with our democratically held elections. It's awful. But guess what? There's no proof. All I had is another cup full of liberal tears to drink, to be honest. Well, let's go to the next clip and see what else the hemorrhoid had to say.
They said something as the members of the Electoral College prepared to gather next Monday to finalize this coup. Some, perhaps unaware that almost half the states they represent permit them by law to vote for someone other than the candidate to whom they are pledged, and that only 38 of them need to do so to prevent this coup.
Okay, let me get this straight. So in other words, because your candidate didn't win, we want to throw out the Constitution of the United States, throw out a democratically held election where the will of the people elected Donald J. Trump through the Electoral College. No, let's go ahead and do that. Let's throw it out and start a civil war with riots on the streets. How do you want that? Oh, wait a minute. We're rioting already because we're still butthurt about Hillary not winning. It doesn't sound very democratic to me to basically interfere with an election by pressuring these electors not to vote how their state voted. And to be honest, if there's any coup out there, it's you with your ideals trying to stop a democratically held election. I'm going to go ahead and listen to the next clip with you. It's hard, trust me. Hard to listen to somebody that probably smells like Jack Daniels, but let's listen to the next one.
Barack Obama has twice stood in front of America, in front of the world, in front of history, and said, "I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States." Today is the time for him to do so. He must immediately declassify and release all relevant materials held by the FBI, the CIA, DHS, and the other intelligence and security services, and in the White House, and anywhere else in government.
And President Obama, while you're at it, why don't you have all of the emails that these people have with Hillary Clinton and her enemies conspiring to break the law, play for pay. Hey, maybe some of the emails that you were sending through her server and that you were aware of. Why don't we release some of them and maybe get some understanding of how corrupt and disgusting you and our State Department were at running this country? How about, releasing some of the info you have on the Clinton Foundation that is basically pay for play? Let's release some of that stuff. No? I didn't think so. Let's see, we'll continue on with the turd here and what he has to say.
Most immediately, the intelligence briefing proposed today for the Electoral College, what the CIA and the others know, when they knew it, how much the Trump campaign knew, that must be conducted without delay and without redactions. There are no arguments of security or face-saving or intelligence secrecy or national interest that carry any weight now. How much worse can it get by telling America the unvarnished, unprocessed, unredacted truth about this coup? We are already on the precipice of losing the freedom and independence of the nation.
I mean, how do you comment on stupidity and butt-hurtness, I guess if that's a word? Listen to what he's saying. Oh, I'm butthurt I didn't win. We're going to do whatever it takes because I don't think this is the right way the country's going and it's the Russians and Donald Trump and all that. I mean, come on. Can you look at yourself in the mirror and say you're any type of professional, honest, I guess, journalist is what you're calling yourself? It looks like to me that you're a left-wing hack communist, butthurt, and basically wanting anything to happen to stop the will of the people. The will of the people will run its course here. Donald J. Trump will be sworn in as the 45th President of the United States, and that's that. We won, you lost, suck it up. But obviously, maybe you have a lot of extra time now that you got fired from your job. You want to get on YouTube and rant and complain and basically make stuff up about that the Russians are cyberly invading our country and invading our election, and they're getting their way. I just don't see any proof of it, and when you can hand me some proof that is honestly obtained and verifiable, then we'll talk. But other than that, it's just basically keep on ranting, pal, because I'll drink them liberal tears right up. Unfortunately, I think I have one last clip of him, so let's listen to it.
Most immediately, the intelligence briefing proposed today for the Electoral College, what the CIA and the others know, when they knew it, how much the Trump campaign knew, that must be conducted without delay and without redactions. There are no arguments of security or face-saving or intelligence secrecy or national interest that carry any weight now. How much worse can it get by telling America the unvarnished, unprocessed, unredacted truth about this coup? We are already on the precipice of losing the freedom and independence of the nation.
I don't know, maybe roughly translated, I voted for Donald Trump in the election. I'm going to be held accountable for it. By whatever means they seem fit. I don't know. I mean, what does he mean right there? It's a bunch of babbling crap, I guess. I don't know how to explain stupid. Stupid is what stupid does. My feelings are hurt. It sounds like kind of maybe some liberal rage. I'd have to side with that. It's always someone else's fault in the liberal mindset. Because, to be honest, if you look at liberals and how they think and react to items, it has to be they have to be mentally ill. If you're a liberal and you're acting and thinking like this, you're mentally ill. There's no other way to describe it. How could anyone be so stupid? How could anybody sit there and drink their own Kool-Aid and believe it? You lost the election because you drank your own Kool-Aid and you believed it, with all the fake polls and all the fake media stories coming from the mainstream media trying to discredit Donald J. Trump. It's disgusting. And people got tired of it. And they're sick and tired of listening to it. And guess what? You can sit there and you can riot and you can get on YouTube and spew all this BS out there about Russians or whatever. Nobody cares. We voted. And guess what? We won. And that's the bottom line. So like it, not like it, learn to love it, pal, because it's the best thing going today. Until next time.